live webinars and things like that. We have interviews with people in the crypto space, people in the algorithmic trading space. We're planning on actually releasing a lot more content over the next couple months. Live webinars and things like that. There you go. So we're live there, right? I want to make sure actually one more thing. This is something I want to make sure that, there you go. I'm going to share my I'm going to share my volume with you guys as well, because I'm going to be playing you guys some examples of a few bots as well, right? So as I mentioned before, we have a YouTube channel. We have a lot of free stuff on here. I think you guys will love it. If you guys want to check it out, you go to youtube.com, right? Or even Google. I mean, you could just do Google too. Search for Lumiwealth, right? And then this is our channel right here. It's growing quite a bit. We have quite a few people that are going through our channel. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers, which is amazing. It's very different from YouTube or very different from Instagram. It's 1,000 subscribers, quite a bit on YouTube. And what I'm going to do with you guys, I'm going to share with you on the chat here the link to our YouTube. So make sure that you subscribe. You can see right here, we actually have the live session, right? This is us right now. If you click on this, you go to the channel, the link that I just sent, you'll be able to see this live. You can watch through YouTube, you can watch through Zoom, either way, it doesn't matter, right? And then you see also a lot of other stuff on our channel here. We have quite a few things. We have everything from reviews by our past students and kind of, what they thought about the program, that sort of thing. We have other instructors on here for other classes. There's a lot of really good information on here. We have interviews with some very good investment professionals from, everything from like Wall Street to real estate to blockchain. We have a lot of blockchain stuff on there. So lots of really good stuff to check out. So make sure you check out our YouTube channel and subscribe. Hit the ring button so you guys get the notifications when new things come out. Because of course, like I said, we have a lot of really cool stuff there. And yeah, and that's basically it for our YouTube, right? Today, you guys are here to learn more about algorithmic trading. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about our course, what we've done. So I'm going to show you some examples. I think that's the important thing. I'll show you guys some examples of some of our bots and how they've performed over time, and really how you can build some of your own bots, right? It's a lot easier than people think. We've been working very hard on this over the past almost 3 years now. We've been around as a company, grown quite a bit. And using all the latest technology to make this as easy as possible for you guys to build these types of bots. Right now, you have to learn how to code, but it's a lot easier than it was. I'll tell you this much. 2 years ago, it was a lot harder to learn this stuff. We've made it a lot simpler for you. We have a lot of technology that we give to you when you go through our courses. So hopefully I can demo some of that for you today and really get you excited about this, because this is some really cool stuff. And I manage my own money this way. A lot of our students manage their money this way, and it's quite profitable. It's in some ways it's being able to customize your own investment philosophy, and instead of spending a ton of time doing this stuff, I don't know about you guys, but I don't know how much you trade and how much you spend time doing these things, but it's quite time consuming and nerve-wracking, right? A lot of people will actually, it's funny, a lot of people will spend a ton of time doing this stuff and are stressed out, and they still lose to the market. They still don't beat the market. I could tell you a lot of our strategies. It's like you push a button, you go, and we beat the market consistently. It's just not that difficult, actually. And I'll show you a couple of these things throughout this presentation. All right. Okay, cool. So here's our agenda for today. First of all, I want to get to know who's on this call. Adjust this over here. By the way, we just came to Mexico. One of the advantages of having some good investments and some good financial philosophy is that you could travel a lot. So this is me in Mexico, right? This is Playa del Carmen outside the window. So if you guys are wondering where I am right now, we're normally based out of Toronto or New York. We bounce back and forth, but because, I don't know for you guys that have been, or if you guys have been anywhere on the East Coast lately, the crazy snowstorms and all that, we're dodging all that. Spent the day at the beach. So very, very nice. Anyways, besides the point. So I want to get to know you guys a little bit. First of all, on the call, who's on this call? what are you guys here for? What are you trying to learn? You know, we'll talk about that. I'm going to do a little introduction to Lumiwealth and our company and what we do in the course and that sort of thing. And then we're going to really jump into it. These parts here, we're really going to get into algorithmic trading. What is it? What do we use it for? What are the details behind it? And then we're going to get into the code, and we're going to show you some demos. You're going to see how this stuff works and how you can actually use this yourself to build these things out, right? So we have a course on this right now that teaches you how to build this. We have a series of courses, right? Everything from building out your first algorithmic trading robot, which is this class, right? This is the beginner class. So if you're a beginner to this, you're in the right spot. This is how you get started, right? Then we have more advanced classes, everything from machine learning, which is, you know, using AI to trade. It's really cool stuff. The guy that teaches it is a genius, I swear to you. Makes a fortune for his customers, right? And then we have our options trading course, which teaches you how to obviously apply this stuff to options. We have a blockchain course. We have a crypto course coming out soon. So there's a lot of really cool stuff. You can start here and really expand your knowledge out and build some really, really cool stuff, right? So let me get started here. So let's start off with getting to know you guys a bit. If you guys can type out into the chat, right? So there's a chat button on your Zoom. If you guys are familiar, it looks like a little chat bubble, right? If you could write out 3 things. What is your occupation? What do you guys do for a living? Do you know how to code? Have you ever programmed anything in your life before, or are you brand new to this? And how much investment experience do you have? Are you brand new to investing, or have you been doing this for a while, right? I'll tell you, we get a mix of a ton of people. You know, this class generally is a little bit more beginner, right? We'll start off with teaching you how to code Python from scratch, and teach you how to build your first algorithmic robot, how to do the research, all that sort of stuff. So even if you don't know how to code, this course is great for you, right? It's built for that, really. Then we have more advanced classes as well. If you're someone who knows how to code and you're proficient in this, we have stuff that could teach you how to like really take it to the next level, right? And how much investment experience do you have, right? I feel like a lot of people going through this course, you know, not only do you learn a lot from in terms of like a coding perspective, right? But you learn a lot in terms of how do you apply that code to investing, and you learn a lot from that, right? To back test and understand that, right? So let me read off some of this. We have some good people here. We have John Jacoby. Hello, John. Nice to see you here. I'm glad to see you here. We're actually friends from New York City, which is awesome. Glad to see you in the chat. So entrepreneur, in terms of occupation, do you know how to program? Not at all. I'm very aware of that, John. 10 years plus investing, and I know you've actually had some great investing experience, so it's awesome. Nice to see you here, John. It's great. We have Max, who's a software developer and a business owner. That's fantastic. We actually have quite a bit of people in our courses that are business owners, right? So you'll feel very much at home. And if you're a software developer, you know, I don't want to discourage, like, this is a beginner class, but really we'll teach you how to code Python and everything from scratch. But also, like, we really get deep into the weeds down the line into class. So don't feel like discouraged because you know how to do this stuff. We'll really teach you a lot of this kind of stuff as well. We'll have Charles Barra, who's a retired commodity floor trader. That's awesome. I think you would do very well in this class, Charles. You don't know how to code and you've invested for 25 years. I've taught people like you in the past, and they've done some really, really cool stuff. I'm very excited to see what it is that you'd want to build out. And also keep in mind that we not only teach you how to do this sort of stuff, but we also have an entire arm of our company that will build out all these algorithms for you and really hold your hand through this. So you can build some really, really cool stuff for you. I love talking to people like you that have a ton of investment experience, and we can actually, like, you can really take what you've learned those 25 years and turn it into code, right? It's awesome, you know? We have Max. Yes, I know how to code, but not in Python. Cool. I think you'll pick this up very quick. Python is known to be one of the easiest languages to learn. So if you know C# and Java, I think those are some of the hardest languages to learn, actually. This is me knowing like 20 different languages. You know, if you know C# and Java, I think Python will be very easy for you to pick up. If you go through this class, I think you pick it up very fast. We have Usha here. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Usha. A software developer, yes, you know how to code, that's great. And 10 years of investment experience, I think you're in the right spot. It's definitely the right place for you. I think you could build some very, very cool stuff. I've seen people in the past that have taken our course. And I say this again, you know, our course is made for beginners, but if you know how to code, oh my goodness, the stuff that you can build. I've seen people that have, you know, the two people I've seen that make the most amount of progress in our courses is either people that know how to code and have a little bit of investment experience. Like I've, you got to talk to some people in our community. They've built some really, really cool stuff. I'm thinking about people like Santayan. I'm talking about people like Joel. I'm thinking about people like Guy, who has more investment experience. There's some people that have really built some cool stuff, and you can talk to them on our community. We'll discuss that in a bit. So Utkarsh, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Correct me if I'm not. Data engineer, yes, Python is a primary language, but also in Scala and Java. So you're definitely very well versed in software. That's great. Zero investment experience. So I guess our job is to take your skill. It sounds like you have some great skills. Scala is not an easy language to learn, and you have a lot of data skills. I think you built some really cool stuff. Our job is really to teach you how to apply that to the finance world. So that's what this course would be about for you. We have IT. I'm Irini. So again, I hope I'm pronouncing these names correctly. I'm in digital marketing. I know a bit of Python, 3 years of stock market, 150% gains. Fantastic. Let's code that up. Let's turn that into like persistent gains, you know, whatever you did to make that kind of returns, let's make that a regular thing. You know, let's code that up. Zach, who's a realtor, mostly, and I love the little R there, Zach, by the way. Mostly a complete beginning coding, some trading options experience. That's awesome, but not all that confident. That's awesome. We even have a class, by the way, on options trading for options trading using algorithms, right? So algorithmic options trading, we have a course on that specifically. It's very cool. I think there's a lot of value around that. The thing with options is that it's very difficult to trade them manually. There's so much math involved, and you have to think about everything. It's like there's a lot involved there. Doing it in code is really cool because you can speed that process up and you can get opportunities when they arise much faster. So welcome, Zach. That sounds great. Awesome. Max, so 10 plus years of experience. Thank you, Max. Shane says entrepreneur, basic web development coding experience. Cool. Okay, that's good. So it sounds like, and in 5 years of investing, it sounds like you'll probably pick this up pretty quickly. I feel like people have coded before, they tend to progress really fast through a class. Again, you don't need to have any coding experience. You can do this without anything at all. But for those of you that have some coding experience, I've seen some crazy stuff. You guys have really taken the cake on some things. So it's awesome. So welcome, guys. Thank you very much for all that. It's a pleasure having all of you on this call today, and I love that. It's great to get to know you, right? So let's talk about a little bit about kind of like a little introduction. Let's talk about kind of, you know, who am I, what's Lumiwealth, and like what's the deal here? Like why are we here, right? I'm sure you're here because you want to figure out how to make more money, right? Like, I mean, that's kind of the whole point of this, right? But let me tell you about a little bit about myself and about our company and what we believe in and what we're striving towards, right? So myself, my name is Robert. I've been coding for almost 25 years. It's been a long time. I started when I was 12 years old. So I guess that's dating me, right? Don't do the math, right? But yeah, so I've been coding for quite a while. You know, I've coded in like almost every programming language you could think of: C#, C, C++, Python, Java, JavaScript, Ruby on Rails, like name a language. I've probably coded in it before. I've done this for quite a while. I've been very entrepreneurial my whole life. I started my first software company when I was 15 years old, made more money than my parents at that time, which is kind of cool. Ended up going to business school, did my master's in finance, right? And really the whole premise of that is finance is amazing, is the amount of numbers in it. It's so applicable to software. It's incredible, right? So like my whole thing going through my master's degree was just, how do I take this and apply it to software, right? Like everything that they teach us, it's like, how do you value a bond? How do you value a company? Like all of this stuff is this all done? You could do all of this in software. It's incredible, right? So that's been like really my life's work. I've been obsessed with this my entire life, right? And it shows throughout, the rest of my career after college, right? I went off, started a startup. We sold it for a little over $1 million, right? We split that, which is a nice payout when you're in your 20s, right? That gave me enough money though to be able to travel the world a bit. Decided to go to New York City. John, actually I met John there. Went out to New York City and, the mecca of finance, right? So worked for some very cool companies out there. One of which was Greystone, where I worked for, basically like, like a mortgage dynasty. These guys are, they're, multi-billionaires, right? I think the company itself to this date does, maybe $12 billion a year in mortgages. And my job there was really creating their tech department. So it was myself and the son of the founder of the company. We together built out the entire tech team. We hired people, we fired people at times. We figured out how to organize everything. We talked a lot about the product. And basically we ended up building out a product in mortgages where we were using AI to value a property. So you could like go to a website, type in, I want to buy this property. We'd say, I think this property is worth this much. We will give you a loan of, 15 million or 20 million. They're commercial mortgages, right? So they're around that range. We'll give you a $20 million loan, right? At such and such an interest rate. And here's all your different options. You can like pick that, go in and then figure out how to actually do the loan. There's a lot of paperwork involved, as you can imagine, in a loan that size. Everything from auditing it to making sure that there aren't leaky faucets and whatever, right? So we designed that sort of application. I think to date, that app has probably done maybe 20 to 30 billion dollars in mortgage loans, right? And last I heard, the person that actually I started with, Zach, he ended up selling it. I think he sold it for a good amount. I don't want to say the amount, but I don't know if I'm legally allowed to do that, but did a very good job for himself. That was Greystone. After that, I went off to a company called Voyager, which is in the crypto space, competitor against Coinbase, right? Coinbase, you go in, you buy and sell Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever. Voyager is the same thing. I think better, right? We pay you interest. It's commission free. Coinbase is going to charge you a ton of money to buy and sell. It's not an advertisement for Voyager, even though I did start the company and I own shares, full disclosure. So we designed this thing. I was there from the very beginning. I think I was employee number 5 in that company, 5, 6, something like that. But basically designed this thing from the ground up, right? That company, when I started, was, I think, like I said, 5 of us in a WeWork in the middle of New York City in Soho. To date, that company, I think, is probably over 100 people now. It's listed on the stock exchange. It's worth $3 billion last time I checked. Might be worth a little bit more or less by now. But it's pretty cool to start a company that's worth several $1 billion. Feel accomplished with that. And then now what we're working on Lumiwealth. That obviously gave me the means to be able to do things that I really care about. And this is something I love and care about. What you guys are here for, this is it, right? Why do investments have to cost so much money? Why does that be so hard to figure out how to make a good return? It shouldn't be, right? There should be much simpler ways for you to be able to invest your money, make good returns. There should be automated ways. Software has taken over the entire world. It's taken it by storm. Real estate, Airbnb, right? Taxi services, Uber, right? We have all these companies that have disrupted and changed the world in these different industries. We haven't seen that yet for investments, right? We still have hedge funds that are charging 2% a year and 20% over a hurdle. We have ETFs, which are better. They charge less, right? But there's not a lot of diversity in them, and you still have to kind of go through brokers, and they don't trade crypto and whatever. A lot of regulation, right? I think that there's a lot that we can do in this space to make it cheaper, faster, and better. We can really change this world, give you better investment returns, do it for you faster, and make it much easier for you to do. And that's what we're all about, right? Right now, we have a lot of courses on this, and the courses I've seen some people do some really, really cool stuff from our courses. We're also working on a SaaS product that's going to make it even easier for you. So for those of you that take this course, not only are you going to be able to build this stuff out, we give you tons of codes to be able to do this, but you'll be able to even take this and put it on our servers, and we'll make it very, very easy for you to run a lot of these things on our servers. We want to make this as easy for you as possible to really use software to make a ton of money, and do it easily and do it fast and do it without a ton of risk. That's what we're all about. That's what we care about at Lumiwealth, right? As I mentioned before, we have a YouTube channel. I'm going to post this again, just in case you guys missed it. I know some of you guys joined a bit later than the beginning. Zoom takes some time to bring people in. So here's our YouTube channel. I post that again. Make sure that you like and subscribe. I'm going to sound like one of those YouTube people. Smash the like button, but seriously though, do that, because we have a lot of free content that we give out constantly. You'll see some really cool stuff from some great entrepreneurs, everything from crypto to real estate to to options trading. We have some very smart people on there. I think you'll love our content. We have a lot of it coming out, and again, we're planning on even expanding this even further. I would love to one day actually even have like our own channel, like a Bloomberg channel of like all the different things that we're doing. All right, cool. So that's our YouTube channel. We also have a Discord channel. And for those of you that don't know what Discord is, I'm going to show you a little brief intro here. This is Discord, right? It is basically a chat room, right? These are alumni. You could talk to a lot of our alumni in here. You could get homework out for different things. We have different channels for each one of our classes, right? And people talk about this stuff, right? I would strongly suggest that you guys join this. If you guys are thinking about joining our classes, I think joining our community is going to give you a lot of value. Not only are you going to get to know kind of what we're about, not from myself, whatever, I'll say something and, believe it or not, whatever, but listen to our community, right? Like there's so many people out there that built these cool things. You could ask them what they thought about the courses. You could ask them about the things that they're building and just communicate. You have the same interests. If you're here, it means that you actually care about the sort of thing. It means that you guys really will jive with these people, right? So on Discord, we have a lot of these chats. We also have, by the way, Discord is like a voice chat. So we do this, we're actually doing this later today. In about an hour, we're going to do a voice chat on our discussion hour channel where, this is only available to paying customers, by the way. But if you are a paying customer, you could join our discussion hour and you could actually learn from a lot of other people and speak to them over voice instead of typing, right? So it's a lot of really cool stuff in there. I'm going to post this just like the YouTube channel. I'm going to post a Discord link into the chat. You could click on that link. And that's the way that you would join our Discord, and you can start those conversations and get to know about our community and everyone else that's built some stuff and taken our courses and all that sort of thing, right? We also have a survey at the end of the webinar, so just make sure you fill that out. We do read it, and I'd love to hear your opinions. And then another thing is, I love it when I love it. All of our instructors all love it when our presentations are interactive. Instead of, I would love to hear throughout this, right? So don't feel like you have to wait until the end to ask questions. If you have a question, type it onto a chat. I'm more than happy to make this interactive. I love doing that sort of thing. I love hearing from you guys and getting that feedback, right? So make sure you please ask your questions throughout the presentation. I'd love to hear what you guys think, and if you have any questions throughout what we're doing, right? Interactive presentations are our best. I even have that there, right? I'm going to bold that. That is very true. Okay. All right, okay. And we have a Q&A, and that's awesome. I love that. Okay, so Q&A here. What is the main focus during the course is the question. So the main focus during the course is going to be on building trading algorithms. So by the end of the course, you're going to be able to, first of all, download and interpret financial data, right? So is this a good idea or not? You can be able to back test and say, should I be making this type of investment? How do I get this data? You know, if I back test it, and for those of you that don't know what back testing is what if I use the same algorithm over the past, you know, 20 years? What would have happened to my money, right? You're gonna know how to do that sort of thing, how to analyze an investment. You know, there's so many of these like people out there on the internet. It's kind of crazy. Like this past years, this exploded with this stuff where people are like, yeah, follow my trading strategy. I know the best. Sure, maybe, right? Maybe they're amazing. Who knows, right? But what we teach you is how to actually use data to figure out, is that correct or not, right? This person that says their strategy is the best, well, why don't we put that to the test? Let's download that data and let's do the data science around it, right? We'll check, first of all, does that line up in terms of correlations and statistics, right? And second of all, we'll check if you back tested that idea as in you ran that same strategy that they said to do, and you did it over the past 20 years or 10 years or 5 years or whatever time frame you want to do. If you did it over that time frame, if you did it over the past 20 years, would you have made money or not? Would you have beat the stock market or not, right? And it's not even just beating the stock market. Did you beat the stock market risk adjusted, right? Because anyone could beat the market if you just, you know, took a bunch of leverage and said, hey, hey, screw it. If I lose 70% of my money, I don't care, right? Like anyone could beat the market. The key is to beat the market, but do it on a risk adjusted basis, right? So we really focus a lot on that in the course. And then of course, once you've learned how to interpret the data and backtest and that sort of thing, we'll teach you how to actually build a bot that is going to be running this and trading on your behalf, right? We have a bunch of different brokers that we work with. We have a bunch that we're adding as well, everything from crypto to futures to Forex to options to stocks, of course. We'll teach you how to build that bot, right? So that's really what the course is about. It's about, how to code in Python, how to get and interpret data, how to back test and figure out, is this going to work for me or not? And then actually, once you have all that and this makes sense, you could deploy that bot and you could actually run it and make some money. All right. So I hope that answered your question. And thank you very much for asking it. Right. Okay, cool. So let's talk about algorithmic trading. What is it? Why do we care? Right. So first of all, algorithmic trading, for those of you that don't know, is all about using software to analyze data and make trades. Okay. And also it can provide trade alerts. It doesn't necessarily have to trade for you, or it could execute trades for you as well, right? So there's a lot of companies out there that just use data science to figure out, should I do this or not? They manage a couple $1 billion, right? Like for example, Bridgewater, right? They manage several $1 billion. They want to use software to basically figure out, is this a good idea or not? And then they personally place the trade. That's possible, right? We teach you how to do that. There's a lot of data science behind that. Or you could be something more like a Renaissance Technologies, where maybe you don't want to place a trade. Maybe you want the computer to do it for you completely, right? And we'll teach you how to do that as well, right? So it's really about the knowledge behind this. Are we doing the right thing? Are we making money doing this? And then if you choose to, we could actually trade that for you automatically as well. Right. And I have another chat here. Max asks, I know the class is not about risk management, but would you touch on the subject anyway when it comes to algo trading of stocks and options? Absolutely. That's a great question, Max. I love that. I know you have some experience because of that question. Absolutely. Risk management is huge, right? I am not the type of person. You spend your life building your wealth, right? You built up some amount of money. I don't know about you, but I don't like putting my money into something that's like, well, maybe we'll double our money, but maybe we'll lose everything, right? Like that is not, in my opinion, that's gambling. You can go to the casino for that. You don't build an algorithm, right? You don't need that. You can just go to the casino. What I'm all about, my personal philosophy is I'm very much on a risk adjusted basis making money, right? So, it's great that you made, and a ton of people will say this, especially the past year, you're like, yeah, I made 1,000% return. Okay, well, let's see what happens next year. I mean, like, it's, we're not about taking some crazy risks here and, you either triple your money or you blow up your account. Not about that. If you want to do that, I mean, I'll give you the tools, and by all means, try it out. If that's your thing, go for it, right? But I think you should do it in an educated fashion. How much risk am I taking doing this, right? So question is examples of returns. I'll show you some examples in a bit. Actually, it's the next slide of the returns that we had. I got to update the slide a little bit. But also, I'll show you throughout our, I'll show you in some of our demos as well. You'll see a lot of examples of returns, right? Again, good returns, risk adjusted, I think is very important, right? And you'll see that. Thank you for that question, both of you guys. Does it depend on market experience and coding abilities? We give you a lot of algorithms off the bat that you could just use, right? So some of our students kind of just use our algorithms and run them, right? I was actually talking to someone earlier today that's what she does. She just takes her algorithm and just runs it. She's made a really good amount of money off of it, and she keeps on saying, she's like, I love this thing. It's like, it just keeps making me money. So you could use that if you want, right? But then there's also, you can build your own, right? And some people that have built their own have really accelerated this stuff. I could tell you some of our students, one student I could think of, I think he told me in the past year, he's made 400% or 500% in a year. It's amazing. It's like an influencer following strategy. That's really cool. Our returns have been very good in our investments. I can't complain. We've done very well. When the market's up, we do better than the market. When the market's down, we still do better than the market, which is great. But I'll show you some of those things, and you guys can either use our code if you want, or you could build your own, right? It's up to you, right? You could take our code, modify it. We give you lots of examples. When you take this course, we give this stuff to you. I don't want you to have to do this from scratch. We'll give you like 10, 20 different algorithms they could use, modify, do whatever you need to do with them, right? And some of them we use internally as well, right? So we've done, I personally made quite a bit of money off these things, so I'm very happy with that as well, not gonna lie. Okay, Shane asks, can we combine this with AI to make better trades over time? Absolutely, yes, that's a very good question, Shane. Thank you for asking that. In this class, we'll cover AI briefly. It's the main, there's a lot that you have to learn to get to this, right? AI is not simple, but in our day 12 of our class, the last day, we teach you how to use AI, machine learning, how to do this sort of thing on your computer. We also have an entire class on this as well, right? So if you're interested in taking your knowledge to that level and like really learning machine learning and AI to improve your investment returns, we have an entire class on this called Machine Learning for Trading. It's taught by a very intelligent person, Greg Tanaka. This guy went to Stanford, went to Berkeley, went to another very prestigious school that I can't remember right now if those two weren't enough, right? He also got funded by Andreessen Horowitz and some of the best VCs in the world for $10 million. And he runs like basically a technology company that uses machine learning or AI for investing. And he's one of our instructors. He's the one that actually teaches our machine learning class. From what I've heard, he's made incredible returns for his clients. And you guys could take the course and actually learn from him and what he did and apply those principles yourselves, right? So yes, so we teach it in this class. We briefly touch on it. And if you really want to get into the AI thing, we have an entire course on that, which goes really in depth into that, right? So thank you for that. Thank you for that question, Shane. Okay, so back to our slides. So we have algorithmic trading here. We talked about what it is. It's basically using computers to trade stocks, to figure out stocks, bonds, options, futures, crypto, right? Anything, right? Use software to analyze your trades. Should you be doing this? Where should you be investing? How should you be doing it, right? Back testing it, all that kind of stuff. And then if you choose to, we could actually place those trades for you automatically. So you can go relax on your couch or hang out in Mexico. It's gotten dark outside now. Spent the day on the beach. Do that sort of thing all day. Spend your day on the beach while this thing's making you money in the background. I think it's a good life, right? So that's kind of what algorithmic trading is, right? But don't take my word for it. Some of the most successful hedge funds in the world use this stuff, right? So I'm going to highlight a couple here, right? One of the biggest ones in the industry is called Renaissance Technologies. There's a fantastic book on this. I'm going to share with you this link. It's a very, very good book on the subject. Copy this. I'm going to put this into the chat because honestly, this is like, it's very eye-opening. So this is a book about the guy that started Renaissance Technologies, okay, called Jim Simmons. His name is Jim Simmons. Okay, so they started this, I think, back in the 70s, right? When computers were kind of a new thing, right? And they're like algorithm guys, and they like figured out, they're mathematicians, algorithm guys, and they basically figured out, you know, it's called the man who solved the market. They solved the market, right? Like really, these guys have made incredible returns for their shareholders and for themselves. Actually, at this point, they've shut down their main fund, the Medallion Fund. You are no longer allowed to invest in it. The only people that can invest in this fund are employees. They make so much money, they don't want any other investors, right? They've really made a killing. The book is crazy. It starts off with them like really trying to figure it out. They didn't know if it was going to work or not, to the point where these guys are like buying mansions and forgetting that they even have them. like bought like a mansion on Long Beach and like, I forgot I even had that. Like, oh, cool, I have a mansion, great. You know, it's like that. It's like that kind of wealth. These guys are like, they literally have like a printing press in their house, right? It's nuts. Very interesting book. I definitely recommend you guys check this out. I think I posted a link, right? I put it into the chat. I have a question here from Asha, from Usha. Please let me know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Question is, how is algorithmic trading different from limit buying and selling other than you can backtest your algorithm? Limit buying and selling is very limited, right? Like that's very basic, right? Limit buying, limit selling. That means that you need to figure out what to buy, what to sell, when to sell it. What stock are you buying? When are you buying it? Should you be selling it? Should you be selling it today or tomorrow? That is very, very basic compared to a lot of our algorithms. A lot of our algorithms will do things like rebalance your portfolio regularly, will follow influencers. Let's put it this way, like if Elon Musk tweets about Bitcoin, chances are it's going up. If Donald Trump talks about a new company he's investing in, chances are that's going through the roof. You saw what happened with the last one. It's like 300% a day. I think it was up 1,500% in a week. Imagine you're the first one on that because you had an algorithm that was monitoring his account and just listening to what he was doing and bought it automatically, right? Imagine you had an algorithm that was using AI and machine learning to trade in crypto, right? And was monitoring the crypto markets even when you're asleep, right? Like the Chinese, like there's some very specific things that happen, right? Like when the United States goes to sleep and China comes up, the market flips, right? And you could have AI that automatically figures out, okay, on Fridays, things tend to tick up in XRP, but they tend to fall in Solana, right? So I'm going to buy this and sell this. Like you can do like some very, very advanced trading compared to just a limit buy and a limit sell. That is very, very basic compared to what you do here. So thank you for that question. You could do significantly more advanced things than that using algorithms, right? So thank you for that question. It's great. And I think this book will, if you want to read this book, it's available on Audible. I love reading my books in audio format these days, you know, busy, right? But it's available on Audible. It's honestly a fascinating read. If you guys want to learn a little bit more about the subject, I think these guys they articulate it very well. These guys are some of the most successful people in algorithmic trading, and they've done really, really, really well. They are like literally they have like a money printing press in their house. Let's talk about them a little bit. Renaissance Technologies, Jim Simmons, his company, what this book is about. Last I checked, they had $110 billion in assets. That's probably a lot more than that now. This is over a year ago. I should probably update this statistic. It's kind of hard to know how much they really have because, you know, they hide their assets. They don't want to get taxed and all that. But last time I checked, it was 110 billion. These guys make a 39% average annual return, which is uncorrelated with the stock market. Okay, that's very important, right? For those of you that have seen the past year, you've seen the stock market do really well. I don't know how many of you guys have gone through down cycles. This is not normal for the stock market. The past year or two has been crazy for the stock market. For those of you that think the stock market goes up by 50% a year, you are way out there. That is not a normal stock market year. You know, stock market will go up 50%, down 50%. We'll see very extreme swings. on average, the stock market does 10% a year. If you can beat that, you're very good at investing. There's very few people that can beat the stock market on a regular basis. That's very hard to do. These guys, they don't just beat the stock market, they quadruple it, and with a very low risk and uncorrelated to the stock market. It's basically like they have a printing press in their house. Okay? So let's talk about what that actually means, the 39% a year return, right? The stock market on average does about 10% a year, right? That means if you took $1,000, after 30 years, it would turn into 17,000, which is pretty good. I mean, every investment advisor will tell you to do that, right? I mean, if you're not investing in the stock market, you know, I mean, I don't know what you're doing, right? Crypto, sure, crypto's great, options great for sure. But if you're not in the market, I mean, like you're not going to retire with anything meaningful, right? Like, I mean, anyone with any kind of wealth will tell you that you have to invest your money. So $1,000 into 17,000 after 30 years, that's fantastic. That's a good return, right? That's much better than, I think, you know, 60% of Americans, right? Most people don't invest, which is kind of crazy if you think about it, right? Renaissance, you know, instead of stock market 10%, Renaissance 39%. That $1,000 in the stock market was 17,000. That $1,000 in Renaissance would be 19.5 million. Think about that for a second, right? That difference from 10% to 39% is the difference between you starting off with basically nothing. Like $1,000 is nothing. I mean, you can work at McDonald's and make that in a week, right? Starting with $1,000, you know, 17,000 is not bad, but 19.5 million from $1,000, that is incredible. These guys, and think about this, right? They got investors, right? Investing in their stuff. If you guys build algorithms, you could also get investors into your algorithms. And we've actually had a lot of discussions around this. And we're building a platform around this actually. You know, imagine you started off with 100,000, you know, you'd be crazy rich doing this sort of thing. Mind you, these guys are like the best in the industry, right? But holy geez, the difference between that, like from 17,000 to 19 million, like that is a huge difference. And that's the whole thing of compound interest, right? Albert Einstein once said, compound interest is the most powerful force on earth. And I mean, here's proof of that, right? I mean, it's nuts. It's crazy, the difference, right? Like 17,000, 19 million. It's like, add 3 zeros, right? That's what Renaissance does, right? That's how, not what they, I mean, what they have done, not like what they're going, like, I mean, this is their track record, right? I'm not talking about hypothetical. This is what they've already done, right? It's absolutely incredible what they've accomplished. And that's basically what we do. We teach the same sort of techniques in our courses as what they do, right? So we have a question here from IT. Does this work on bear market, aka via shorting? Yeah, you could definitely build algorithms for shorting. My ideal strategy, I mean, so this is the thing, right? Like most of these good hedge funds, they won't have one algorithm, they'll have several, right? They'll have, 20 different algorithms that they put their money into, right? And one will do really well when the market's dropping. One will do really well in crypto. One will do really well in futures. One will do really well in options, right? So ideally, you want to have a diversified portfolio of different algorithms of things that will do well in every different situation. So yes, there are algorithms that do well in bear markets, and you can absolutely build that sort of thing out. It is not that difficult. It's basically take the same thinking you have and reverse it, right? It's the same data science techniques, it's the same back testing, all that stuff applies, and it's all it is just shorting the stock. It's just going in a different direction. And there's a bunch of ways that you can make money on a bear market, not just shorting the stock, right? You can use futures, you could use options to make money on a bear market. You could use volatility to make money on a bear market. There's a lot of very interesting strategies that you could do in a bear market. And honestly, the way the market's been performing lately, I think we're going to make more and more algorithms like that because I think it's worthwhile, right? But yeah, this is not just long. You could do both up and down and sideways. There's a lot of different ways to make money in this. Think about anything that you do as an investor normally and automate it, right? It's like a robot doing things for you, right? Like, I mean, if a robot can clean your house or something like that, right? Like hopefully we'll have that one day. You have robots that you know, are driving cars now. We have self-driving cars now for crying out loud. Like imagine like a self-driving car for your investments, right? That's the kind of thing that you can build using technology. There's a lot of really cool stuff. And like I said, we're working on a SaaS product right now. I would love to actually show you guys. We're gonna have it soon. I hope hopefully within the next few weeks. It depends on, you know, we have a lot of things we're working on, but hopefully within the next few weeks, I'm gonna have a website up and you guys will be able to watch our algorithms on a day-by-day, minute-by-minute basis. You know what I mean? You'll be able to actually watch, how is this algorithm doing today? How is this doing today? You can watch it minute to minute. That's what I'm doing right now. We're getting this website up hopefully very soon. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of things to get that sort of level of accuracy up, but we'll have that hopefully up very soon. You'll be able, you know, call my bluff, you know, watch us trade, watch each trade go through, right? You know, that's what it is. You know, we use this stuff ourselves, right? So it's not, you know, it's the way it is, right? Okay, cool. So we talked about Renaissance Technologies and what they've done. These guys are like the masters of algorithmic trading. They have made a killing, you know, but they're not the only ones, right? Two Sigma's done very well. You know, these guys managed $60 billion in assets last time I checked. I've actually met some people from Two Sigma, got to know a lot about their, about how they run their business, which is a very eye-opening experience. But Two Sigma has done very well. Same sort of thing. They beat the market consistently, risk-adjusted basis. Citadel does very well. These guys are huge in high-frequency trading. They make tons of money. They're like market makers, make a ton of money. Bridgewater, you guys have probably heard of these guys. Ray Dalio's been in the news a lot lately. These guys use a lot of data science to make their decisions. And then D.E. Shaw is another really good one. These guys also run algorithms and do quite well as a company. And I have a little pop quiz for you guys. D.E. Shaw is a very famous company because there's one person who used to work there that all of you guys know. By the way, you guys know him intimately. He's been in the news quite often. Who here knows who used to work at D.E. Shaw? You can type it into the chat. He is someone I guarantee all of you know. I guarantee every single one of this person, every single person in this call knows this person's name. Try not to Google it. It's a very easy way to cheat, right? I'll give you guys a few seconds. Okay, so I won't hold this up, but for those of you that don't know, the famous person that used to work at D.E. Shaw being an algorithmic trading hedge fund, is Jeff Bezos. So Jeff Bezos used to work at D.E. Shaw back in the day. If you ever read stories about him, right? He used to work at a hedge fund. He used to work in New York on Wall Street. This is the company that he worked for, right? They use technology to basically automate trading and, you know, forecast investments and that sort of thing. And they've made quite a bit of money doing it. These guys are very successful as a hedge fund, right? And then Jeff Bezos was there, and that's how he came up with the idea for Amazon, because he actually was going through data science, reams of data every day, and he noticed how quickly the internet was growing. That's one of the things he learned from the data science of all this, right? And that's when he said, oh, wow, maybe I can make a company around this. He was getting paid very well there. He decided to take a leap of faith, left the company, started his own company, and the rest is history. You know, started Amazon, and you guys all know, richest man in the world, right? Came out of D.E. Shaw. So when you guys are doing this, when you guys are building the algorithms, you are in very good company. There's some very smart people and some very successful people that have come out of these companies and have made a ton of money doing it, right? Okay, so that's that. I can show you our returns. This is a little data at this point. I feel like I got to update this. I took a screenshot of of my Fidelity account. It's not the only account, but this is our trading returns last year. We made 53% last year when the market did 17% in the same year. So we tripled the market almost, right? In this one account. We manage multiple accounts. Each account has a different algorithm. So we've done quite a bit. I've had actually accounts that have done much better than this. It wasn't as nice of a picture. It didn't take a picture on my phone like that. But we've done quite well. So if you're wondering how we've done, here's at least one screenshot. If you want, I can show you more proof. We've done quite well in terms of our investing. Our students have done quite well. I mean, it makes sense. We're just taking basically software and we're using data science to figure out what are some good investments. And to be quite honest with you, there's a lot of ways to make money doing this sort of stuff. So we have a question here. The question is, do we need to hold the funds at specific brokerages to make use of algorithmic trading? Is it possible to run the algorithms outside of your servers or platform? Yeah, so that's a great question. So not every brokerage allows you to do algorithmic trading. There's some specific ones that we work with. We work with Alpaca. We work with Interactive Brokers. We're going to be working with TradeStation very soon. Then we're going to be doing a lot of crypto broker. Most crypto brokers allow APIs. They're like new school, right? They're all about this stuff, right? So crypto, they like all have APIs, right? But yeah, not every brokerage allows you to do this, right? Like Fidelity is quite a bit more difficult. Fidelity is more like we had to figure out using the data science, what are the right things to do, and then we manually place the trades, right? That was Fidelity, right? But then the automated ones are like Alpaca account or whatever. So there's certain types of brokerages that allow you to do algorithmic trading and a lot of them that do not, right? Okay. So that's the first part of your question. So there is a limited amount of brokers, right? Not every one of them will let you do this, right? Second of all, can you run the algorithms outside of our servers and platform? Absolutely. We do not lock you into any platform. We teach you how to use our open source software, which is free and available to anyone and will stay that way forever. You do not need to pay us for any servers. You are not locked into anything. I know some of our competitors like Quant Connect, something like that, you're locked into the, like you're either using their servers or you're not, and that's it. And they take all your data and they'll do whatever they want with it, right? We are not like that. We teach you how to use this stuff. We give you open source software. Again, it's free and available to everyone. Use it as you will, do whatever you want to do with it. You do not have to pay us any fees. You're not locked into any platforms, nothing like that. It's a very good question. Thank you. There is a limit in terms of brokers because not every broker allows you to do algorithmic trading. There's a limit to them, but we do not force you to use our servers or our code in any specific way, right? We have an open source library that you're welcome to use. You don't have to use it. Some students opt out to not use it, right? I don't know why you wouldn't. I think we have the best open source library in the world. We've spent a lot of money developing it, you don't have to. You're not locked into any of this stuff, right? Shane asks, so can we run simulations with paper trading? Absolutely, and I very much recommend that. So yes, you should definitely run your algorithms in paper trading first. Do not run this live. And I think that goes without saying. I think most people know this logically, but just in case, kind of the typical way that you'll build an algorithm is, first of all, you come up with an idea and something that you want to research. You'll get that data, you'll do the analysis on it, some statistics, whatever, right? Then you're going to back test it and see how it would have worked over time. Okay, it did well over the past 20 years. I'm pretty confident this will do well. Then you put it on paper trading. And you trade it through a paper trading account, see that it's working with fake money first, right? And if it works with fake money, paper trading it, then you put into live trading, right? And I think it's very important to follow this process for several different reasons, right? You follow this because, first of all, you want to be sure that this thing will work. But second of all, there's a lot of bugs that can happen. Like if you're coding, you're like, oh, what if you got something wrong or whatever? The back test will catch a lot of it, right? But then paper trading will catch even more, right? So you definitely should follow that process, right? So not only can you run it paper trading, I'd highly recommend that you do that, right? That you, before you run this with real money, take 100 grand of your hard-earned cash, put it into a paper trading account, trade it with fake money first, make sure it's working properly, and then put it into real money. All right, so good question. Thank you, Shane. All right, okay, so we've talked a lot about theory. Let's get into the weeds of it, right? Let's talk about real world. Let's actually show you guys a demo and you guys can actually see how this works, right? So here's our code. I've talked about this a little bit before. We have an open source library. my opinion, this is the best library on the planet in terms of algorithmic trading that is open, free for you guys to use. We have quite a bit of stars. It's growing very fast. If you check us out on GitHub, we're beating all of them in terms of growth rates. This library is awesome. We spent a lot of time developing it. You know, there's some other ones available, but you know, they've either stopped developing or you know they've had some internal conflicts, whatever. We've been really dedicating a lot of time and energy and money into developing this thing out, and you get this for free when you go through the course. So this is our library. It's written in Python. You could read about it all here if you guys want to have want to see it on GitHub, right? Search for Lumibot, just like Lumiwealth, Lumibot, right? We have a couple chats here. So Albert asks, what crypto brokers are you looking at? So we're developing crypto right now. We should have, within this bot that I'm showing you right now, in Lumibot, we should have crypto available in about 3 to 4 weeks, hopefully, you know, assuming everything goes well. And right now we're initially going to add in Coinbase and Binance, you know, just because they're like the biggest, and you know, Coinbase is public, right? So we're going to do that. But once we have those in, we can add in plenty of brokers very, very fast. We're going to be using CCXT to do it. So we can add in, you know, 20 brokers in like a month after that, right? The hard part is getting the first initial crypto part of it down. So Coinbase and Binance at first, but then I want to be adding in all sorts of stuff after that. Everything from Gate.io, which I think is fantastic. They have a lot of coins on there, to, you know, you name it, you know, Gemini, there's like a million of them, right? We're going to be adding those in really, really fast, right? But Coinbase, Binance first. All right, good question. Thank you. So IT asks, does this involve analytics only via past patterns? What happens in unexpected events? Perfect example, COVID. Yeah, so you're right. We're looking at the past. I mean, if you're an investor, what else are you supposed to do? I mean, I don't have a crystal ball. I can't see into the future. The only way that you could possibly infer anything about the future is based on what has already happened. There's no, like, I mean, unless you have a time machine that I don't know about, right? You kind of have to do that, right? You have to look at past events to figure out future events. But I'll be honest with you, I don't think COVID was that crazy. Like, I mean, we made a lot of money on COVID. I'll tell you, me personally, when the market crashed in March, I made a ton of money. Like, the market crash was very profitable for me. We bought a lot of put options on the way down and made a ton of money. And then we bought a lot of tech stocks at the very bottom and made a ton of money on the way up. I think I quadrupled my money over 2020. That was a very, very good year. So there, but it's not like this has never happened before, right? Like, COVID is not, I mean, fine, okay, pandemic, how often does that happen? Yeah, it happened in 1919, but it's not even just that. It's about any kind of crash, right? You can look at market valuations. You can look at the way a market's been behaving. You could look at sentiment of how people are behaving. I mean, we saw it personally. I personally was able to make money off this because I have money invested all around the world. And in China, we saw this huge drop. It was a 4% drop in one day in their stock market. And that got us to actually go and research and look into that. And we're like, wow, this could be a really big problem. And that's when we bought put options and made a ton of money off that, right? So there really is, I mean, even though, you know, they say history doesn't repeat itself, history rhymes, right? There really is a lot of truth to that, right? Even though COVID itself is unique, that type of thing has happened before. And you could use a lot of data in the past to look into that sort of thing. All right, so IT is a very good question. So thank you very much for that. Yeah, no, but you can include macroeconomic data. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of data that you can look at. Like, I mean, worldwide, you know, I told you how we came up with that specific trade, right? But there's, you know, history rhymes, right? It's like, and it's by, you could have an algorithm that trades all around the world, right? Like, you could have an algorithm that trades in India, one that trades in Pakistan, one that trades in, you know, China, Japan, right? Like, I mean, you can have different algorithms all around the world, read their news. Like, I mean, you can do such amazing things using software that, like, it's pretty incredible, you know? So yeah, so another question, Albert. So Albert You ask, you have been mentioning a server package. Please explain the offering. So server package, this is new, right? We don't actually have that yet, right? But if you want us to help you actually build it out, we could definitely build it out for you. Sorry, just 1 second here. Okay, so so the question is, so you have been mentioning a server package, yeah. So yeah, so we don't have that yet. We're working on that sort of thing. So basically, what we're building out is we're building out. I don't think it's. I don't even know if I can demo it to you right now because it's just so shaky. It's like it's like the first thing. This is not going to be available for probably another 2-3 months. Like we want to make sure it's stable and everything's working properly before we give this to anyone. Even as a beta test, it's finance. I don't want to lose anyone's money, right? But we're basically building out a platform where if you build an algorithm, you will be able to basically put it on our servers. We'll run it on our servers for you. You'll be able to adjust parameters and all that sort of thing and kind of adjust things and build your algorithm as you want. Start, stop it, see how it's doing, that sort of thing. And then if you like it, you could also sell it to other people. Other people can use your algorithm, right? And we're going to make that better and better and better over time. Right, so that's the kind of thing that we're building out. We want to make this as simple as possible. Right now, you learn how to build it through code, right? We want to make this as easy as possible for you to build algorithms that like really make a ton of money, right? So that's kind of what we're building out. What we're hoping to do is we're hoping to completely disrupt the hedge fund industry, right? We could start a hedge fund, right? I don't think that's a big enough idea. I think we can completely disrupt the entire hedge fund industry, right? The way that the hedge fund industry works right now is it's very exclusive. You can only invest if you're, a multimillionaire in most cases, right? They charge very heavy fees because there's a lot of people involved. It's not very software friendly, right? There's mostly people doing this sort of stuff. And, it's very difficult to access. There's not a lot of transparency in this, right? This is like this black box of like, who knows what's going on, right? We want to completely change that, turn on its head, use technology, kind of make it like Airbnb for hedge funds, right? Sorry, guys, can you give me 1 second, please? Sorry, guys. Okay, cool. So let's get back to it. All right, so let me show you guys a little demo, right? So I think this is what you guys have really been waiting for, is like seeing how this actually works, right? So here I'm going to show you a demo. This is recorded a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, I can't do it right now because the markets are closed, right? We used to do these things during the market hours. So you're going to see here during market hours, right, of these things actually trading live, right? So here's going to be a couple of our algorithms trading live when the market is open, right? So let me play this for you guys and let me know if you hear this volume, because this is a new experiment for me here, being in Mexico. All right. So this is, I'm going to show you a couple of different trading strategies that we show you, first of all, in the courses, and that you can employ yourself. It's pretty easy for you to get these up and running. I've had people that have never coded a day in their lives and have these strategies running within just a few weeks. Yeah, so, even if you don't know how to code, don't feel like you have to shy away from this or whatever. I'm going to be showing you a bunch of code here, but really it's not that difficult to learn. We've been able to teach a lot of people that have never coded before in their lives, right? Okay, so here, let's show you a demo of some of our different trading strategies. Okay, so there's a couple I want to show you today. We have some new ones, like I was saying. Okay, so I want to show you, first of all, our fast trading strategy, just because a lot of people, whenever they think algo trading, they want to be able to trade really quickly, get in and out of things very fast, and analyze a lot of things. So what I'm doing here is I'm running this fast trading strategy. If you see here, we go into our broker. It was nothing, and now it bought a whole bunch of stuff automatically by itself. Okay, and let me describe to you essentially what this strategy is doing. Okay, Here is the code. The code is fairly straightforward. It's not that long, right? So it looks like, 160 lines of code, but a lot of it is boilerplate stuff, and a lot of it is like, kind of just tracking things and whatnot. It's very easy for you guys to get something like this up and running. Essentially what it does is it looks at these symbols here, right? SPY, gold, TLT, Microsoft, Tesla, etc. Right? We're looking at all those symbols and basically saying which one has done the best over the past 1 minute, right? And whichever one did the best, has had a momentum, the best momentum, it keeps the top 4, okay? And it'll keep swapping them out. So if we watch this here, we see the top 4 we have right now is TLT, XPXS, XPXL, and MCHI. Those are best over 1 minute. You see that just swapped. We just bought some gold. So it sold TLT and it bought gold. Okay. And if we leave this running, you'll see basically you'll do this all day long, right? You don't have to be in front of your computer. You could have this thing running in the cloud. You could have this thing running off your computer. And it'll just keep trading for you all day long, right? Now, this is a strategy that, follows momentum, but you could just as easily do a lot of other things with this, right? You could use technical analysis for this, right? I know a lot of people like looking at charts and support resistance, that sort of thing. You could use that, right? You could use things like RSI or pivot points or VWAP, right? You could use all those types of things to influence which stocks you want to own and have like a, we have our top 10 stocks, and based on our criteria, we keep the top 4, and you can trade throughout the day doing that sort of thing. So this is very flexible. There's a lot of different things that you can do with this. And this is just a demo to kind of show you, this fast trading, how it moves in and out. If we give it another minute, it should actually flip things around. We'll give it, so it executes once every minute. If we give it a little bit more time, it'll swap things out. Oh, there you go. Okay, I just did that. So it sold the gold. Remember, you guys saw the gold. It sold that, and it sold our MCHI. So we sold 2 of those things, and then bought SPY and it bought Microsoft, right? And that's because those have been the ones that are doing the best over the past minute, and just kind of holds on to them, right? So it's just a simple momentum strategy. But like I said, there's a lot of other things that you could convert this into. Use any kind of technical analysis you want, or any kind of criteria that you want to do this sort of trading, right? This is something that'll be like throughout the day, intraday, quickly getting in and out of things, all right? All right, okay, so that's our fast trading strategy. Let's show you our technical analysis strategy, right? Because this one is, we could basically take what we did in the last one, okay? And we can do the same thing, or we could use essentially, what we did in the last one. We could apply this sort of stuff for technical analysis type of stuff, right? So what this one does is it's, sorry, there's a question here on chat. I want to do day trading. Will it help me with that? Yes, absolutely. Will help you with day trading. Yeah. So the last strategy that I just showed you, the fast trading, is very well suited for day trading, right? So what you would do is you would take something like that and combine it with maybe a technical, it depends on how you trade, right? If you trade, support resistance, if you trade using VWAP, if you trade using some sort of technical analysis, RSIs or Bollinger Bands or whatever, we could implement all that kind of stuff, right? So here is a technical analysis strategy. This one trades a little slower, but you can mix the two together, right? You can make it so that the last one that we had takes the top 4 stocks, right? This one, what it does is it trades based off of RSI, right? So it looks at the RSI of SPY, right? And if RSI falls below 33, okay, so it's looking at the RSI for SPY, and it has 2 stocks that it trades, okay? It has SPY and TLT, okay? It has the 2 of them, okay? And they're normally 60-40, which is kind of like what investment advisors recommend, 60% stocks, 40% bonds, right? But when the RSI gets too high on SPY, which means kind of like it's overbought, right, is what we call it with RSI terms. When it's overbought, then we say, okay, let's get out of SPY and only buy TLT. So we sell our SPY, go 100% to TLT. And then the opposite situation, when SPY falls too much and the RSI is low, then we will sell all of our TLT and only buy SPY, right? So it's changing weightings in our stocks based off of this criteria of a technical analysis, right? Technical indicator, okay? So if we see it trading right now, you'll see it bought 60-40 SPY, so 60% of money of 50,000 is put into SPY automatically, right? And TLT, the other 20,000, right? The other 40%. Okay. If this is a time when SPY was too high, it would automatically sell SPY and get into TLT. Or if opposite happened, if SPY fell a lot, it will do the flip as well. You could do this much faster. You could do this with many stocks throughout the day. And you could use a lot of other types of technical analysis as well. So we use this library, right? You could use Bollinger Bands, right? You could use, you know, some of these things, I don't even know what they are. Average true range, you could use that. Bollinger Bands, you could use moving averages, crossing, use MACD, all sorts of different things that you could use to trade with. RSI, stochastic RSI, right? Lots and lots of different things that you could use to trade. And you could trade throughout the day, buying and selling things automatically based on your criteria, right? You don't have to be at your computer. You don't have to be paying attention to it. You can set up stop losses automatically, all that kind of stuff you can get through the bot, right? Okay, so that's our technical analysis strategy, right? Okay, I'm going to show you some cool new ones that we just made, right? So this is one that I think will probably resonate with a lot of you guys. This is a really fun one that we actually just created, and I'm actually in the process of testing exactly how well it does, but it is definitely a very interesting strategy. This is not the right, okay, we're going to get out of this. So this is a strategy that we call Reddit sentiment, okay? You get access to this strategy. If you join our classes, you get access to this strategy within our classes, right? We'll give this to you. You could use this, you can modify this. It's part of our library of different algorithms, right? Okay, so let me run this one here, okay? And let me explain to you kind of what it's doing, all right? So this strategy, what it does is it goes to, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Wall Street Bets. I feel like this has blown up in popularity recently. And of course, you guys, if you guys follow this sort of thing or know about this sort of thing, it's been influencing a lot of stocks lately, right? The increases in GameStop was because of this channel on Reddit. Basically, I think it's now, when I last checked, there's 1 million, but someone told me there's 4 million people on here. Everyone's discussing stocks, talking about, you know, what to buy, what to sell, that sort of thing. And it actually has quite a bit of predictive power where, you know, GameStop shot up a lot because of what happened on Wall Street Bets. There's some people that got going and basically went through the roof, right? GameStop, AMC was another one that's like a big, we call it meme stock or Wall Street Bet stock. And there's a few other ones that are happening more recently, like Wish, and a few other ones that maybe you guys have missed out on. But if you had this bot that we've built out here, you won't have to, right? So what it does is it automatically downloads the hot topics within Wall Street Bets, right? Downloads, you could specify exactly how much you want to download, right? And then it looks over all of those topics, reads all the comments, and uses some artificial intelligence, uses a bit of machine learning type stuff to figure out which stocks have the best sentiment, okay? And sentiment being whether people are saying they like them or not, right? I hate Wish, or I love Wish, or I think Wish is going to the moon, right? It's going to read all those comments and tell you which stocks are, first of all, talked about the most and which ones have the best sentiment. So we see here, Apple, for example, does not have a very good sentiment. It's widely talked about. People don't seem to like it on Wall Street Bets right now. Ones that they do like is this one here, 0.43 Wish. This one's been a hot topic for a while. If you look at the stock charts, by the way, it's gone up a lot. It's doubled over the past week or two. All right, so that sentiment is high up there. We have GOEV. I don't even know what that is. This is talking about, people are talking about this on Wall Street Bets. But in either case, what it did is automatically read all that kind of stuff and then bought the top ones for you, right? So let's take a look here. Boom. These are all the top stocks on Wall Street Bets, right? It will automatically hold on to these and read actually these comments throughout the day and throughout the weeks. You could have this running in a server, running on your computer. It will automatically buy, in this case, the top 4 stocks that are talked about on Wall Street Bets. Not only the ones that are the most popular, but also the ones that people have the best sentiment for, that people say they really like. Look at that. We just bought them and all of a sudden our money is already starting to go up. It's kind of fun to watch. Yeah, so this is a very interesting strategy. We're going to be actually testing this over the next little bit, and I'm thinking about putting some of our own funds money into this as well. All right, so look at that. We literally just bought it and look at what happened to our stock price. Like it's literally within a minute, it's shooting up like crazy, right? And what this strategy will do is it will just keep reading this all day long, right? And see, has it changed, right? If sentiments have changed, it will get rid of it, right? Or if sentiments have gone up for one, it will buy it, right? So it'll automatically be doing this stuff all day long, right? Definitely really cool. It's amazing how fast it's going up. So we have a question here. I have no coding experience. Will this program sync it to my trading platform and auto execute the trades? It depends what trading platform you use, right? So if you have no coding experience, I wouldn't be too worried about it. We have a lot of people in our classes with no coding experience, and they've all been able to get bots up and running. So I wouldn't be too surprised about that. I wouldn't be too worried about that, right? Whether it links with your trading platform, it depends on what trading platform you're using, right? We have 2 brokers that we work with right off the bat. Yeah, so we use Alpaca, we use Interactive Brokers, and we're going to be adding in TradeStation soon. That's the next one that we're adding in. So if you use TradeStation, we'll probably have this built in within the next like 2 months, right? So we are definitely going to be adding that in soon, right? So yeah, so for Thinkorswim, they don't have API access. They have API access to something called TD Ameritrade. They don't give you access to the Thinkorswim platform. It's kind of a little weird there. So we recommend actually, if you want to do like algo trading, TD Ameritrade is really not the best, right? They don't allow you to do paper trading, that sort of thing. And to be honest with you, it's really easy to switch brokers, right? Like to open up an account with Alpaca, like honestly, I think you could do this within 5 minutes, right? It's really easy to do that. So we work with them. We work with the Interactive Brokers. We're going to be adding in TradeStation very soon. And then we're going to keep adding in more and more as we go. So you definitely have a lot of options there. This is amazing. Look at this. We literally just bought this and we're already making like a bunch of money. The stock chart just shooting straight up. Yeah, changing brokers. Yeah, I agree with you, right? Changing brokers is not very difficult. It's really easy to do that. I really like TradeStation. They have great APIs. So we're going to be working with them soon. They also have crypto, they have futures, they have a lot of other stuff. So TradeStation's a really good one that we're going to be adding in. It's amazing, guys. I got to start running my own money in this strategy. We literally just built this like 2 days ago. So we're still testing it out, but it's amazing. Look at this. Literally in the course of this conversation, we've already made what, like $300 or something like that. It's just in the course of our talking right now. Cool strategy, right? So yeah, so that's our Reddit trading strategy. If you have no coding experience, really not that hard for you guys to get this up and running. It's part of our code library, so you can actually start off with this. You can modify it however you want. You don't have to be an expert programmer to do this stuff, guys. You don't have to be some like whiz kid, because we give you a lot of these templates they could start off with. All right. Okay, cool. So that's a Reddit sentiment. I'm going to show you one more. That one actually is really cool. I gotta run that one. I'm going to do that after this. I'm going to run in the cloud and have it go for a few days, test it out for a couple of days, because that's pretty impressive how well it did that quickly. Like I said, we just built this one like 2 days ago. Another one I want to show you guys, and this is one that we actually just put a bunch of our money into. I really like this strategy, and I'll tell you why, right? I'll tell you why through a back test, okay? So we teach you not only how to build the bots, we also teach you how to do the research behind it, as to, you know, how are you going to be picking a strategy? Is this a good strategy for you to do or not, right? How do you find these strategies? And this is one way they can figure out whether a strategy is good for you or not, okay? What I'm doing right now is I'm running a back test, okay? So there's a back test for a strategy that we call diversified leverage, okay? And basically what we're doing is we're going from 2012, right? We're doing this because some of these ticker symbols didn't exist until 2012, from 2012 until 2021, so 9 years, okay? And we're seeing how would our strategy have done over the past 9 years? What kind of results would we have gotten, all right? So the strategy in particular, the one that we're doing, is called this diversified leverage strategy, okay? And basically what it is this is like modern portfolio theory, right? If you talk to someone like a Ray Dalio, or you talk to like some of the most prominent investors in the world, they all tell you diversify well. And the reason why you diversify well is because you want to make sure that you reduce your risk. If you reduce your risk, you can take on more, you can actually take on more risk and make more money, right? Essentially. So what this is we have a bunch of different ticker symbols we're in here. We're in the leveraged NASDAQ, so TQQQ, right? So it's the triple NASDAQ, right? So 3x the returns of the NASDAQ. If you look at the stock chart on this thing, it's wild. It's like up 1,600% in 2 years or something like that. It's crazy, right? But of course also has its risks. There's a downside as well, right? So we want to protect against that. So we have 20% of our money into that, 10% of our money into UPRO, which is the leveraged S&P 500, 3x leveraged. Then we have 10% of our money into UDOW, which is a leveraged Dow Jones. Then we have 10% of our money in emerging markets, right? Leveraged emerging markets, right? 35% of our money in leveraged treasury bonds. So now we diversify, right? So we have in total 50% of our money in stocks, right? In leveraged stocks, right? And diversified around the world a little bit, right? And then we have the rest of our money in something to counterbalance that, right? To reduce our risks, to give us some good hedging and to improve our returns without taking on too much risk, right? So we do that by having leveraged treasury bonds. So usually when stocks fall, treasuries go up and vice versa. So they're a really good hedge to have in a portfolio. We also have Barclays Vixx, right? This is an interesting one. Basically, you lose money regularly, but when things fall apart, if like the stock market crashes, it'll go like up 5x. You'll make 500% of your money in like a day, right? And that's a really good hedge because if things fall, you want to be able to protect yourself, right? And we also have 5% of our money in gold. So this is one that actually I've put some of our money into, right? Not all, like some good chunk of our money into the strategy. And I'll tell you why, right? When we look at the back test, what we could see here is, look at this. So this strategy, okay, over that same time period, right? Over this 2012 to 2021, that 9 years there. So January 1st, 2012 to January 1st, 2021, right? So 9 years, yeah. Over that time period, the S&P 500 was up 17.5%, which is nice, right? If you're in this strategy, you would have made 28.9%. You would have almost doubled the stock market's returns, okay? Which is amazing, right? Like obviously that's, if you guys do the math behind this, this is the difference between when you retire, you could retire with $1 million versus 10 million, right? That's like the difference, right? Like it's a very, very large difference when you have double the stock market's returns. Huge, huge payouts. This could be worth $9 million to you in the future. You know what I mean? This kind of differential, right? But okay, so it's great to have a higher returns. That's awesome, right? But we're not just talking about higher returns here. We're talking about higher returns while taking on the same amount or less risk, okay? So over that same time period, so we doubled the stock market's returns, but we also had only a little bit of increase in our volatility. It's not too much more volatile, meaning this up and down thing. And our max drawdown is almost exactly the same, right? So meaning from the peak to the bottom, right? This is in last year, right? March, 2020, stock market fell 30%. From the very top to the very bottom, it fell 33%, okay? If you were invested in this strategy, you would have also only lost about 33% at the same time period. So we have the same risk as the stock market, but we're making double the returns. That to me sounds incredibly impressive, right? Which is why we're putting some of our money into this, right? We diversify among different strategies. We don't put everything into one, but this was one when we're looking at 30% a year returns, sounds very appealing to me, right? So this one went ahead. When we go in here, you could see it automatically bought all these things for us, right? All the different ones. This would be a pain, by the way, to do on your own. And the key is that it doesn't just buy these, it rebalances. And that's the key here, right? Because you'll have days like, for example, TQQQ will shoot up, in a week's time, will shoot up 100% or something like that. When it shoots up 100%, you want to rebalance your portfolio and put money somewhere else. And that's how you actually get the safety along with the very good gains, right? It's intelligent portfolio construction, and that's how you end up making all the money. That's why having like a robot that'll automatically look at the stuff and rebalance for you is really important, because that's how you're actually going to end up with these returns. You can't just go and buy them and that's it, right? You actually have to be rebalancing and trading them on a regular basis, right? So I very much like this strategy as well. We have our own money, like I said, in this as well. And so far been doing, we've been making good money. So I'm happy with it so far. All right, cool. All right, so that's a couple of our strategies. We've showed you everything from our day trading, to trading off of Reddit, to, building intelligent portfolios. I have a few more that I could show you guys. We have a whole library, like I said, there's tons of different things. We have things where we trade off of like macroeconomic things where we use like the debt, where the Fed Reserve, that they take on debt, we trade off of that. We're building out a bunch of options trading strategies as well, which we're going to have a separate webinar to kind of explain a bunch of that stuff, where you know, you could trade volatility and all that sort of thing. We have lots and lots of different strategies, and we just keep growing more and more of them. So if you guys join our courses, not only are we going to teach you how to do this stuff, we're going to give you access to that big library. So you'll be able to either use it right out of the box, or, you know, modify it to do whatever you want it to do. You'll have access to that sort of stuff. All right. Cool. So that's the demo. All right, guys. So that's pretty much it. I know we had a couple. Cool. Okay. So let's get into a demo. All right. So there you go. Okay. I know you guys had a couple questions throughout. So I want to answer those directly because I know, you know, as texting you guys or chatting back and forth. But so IT asked during during this little demo, is can trade stock puts, and the answer is yes. So there's, I mean, anything has an API, right? Like, I mean, StockTwits has an API. I actually know the owner of StockTwits. I knew him back in the day in New York. I remember when StockTwits was a little tiny company with a big idea. He tried to offer me a job. I said no back in the day. It was a while ago. It was a long time ago. Yeah, I mean, they have an API. You connect to them. You can scrape them, no problem. You know, StockTwits, Discord, Telegram, Twitter, Reddit, you know, you name it, anything really online with data you can take and use to make these sorts of strategies, right? Lots and lots of different things we do here. Actually, funny enough, is I think this is probably some of the best algorithms I've seen have used text information like Twitter, Reddit, you know, Telegram, Discord, Signal, right? Like all those kind of things. The bots that I've seen do the best use those to trade. So I think there's a lot of, and I want to expand on this very significantly over the next little bit. I think there's a lot of potential there. So it's a great question, IT. Thank you for that. And the other question that Max has, how do you account for trading fees or fees and trading fees, right? The back tests, they don't include trading fees, right? Which, by the way, is not unrealistic in today's markets, right? If you're trading on Alpaca, it's free trades. If you're trading on Robinhood, it's free trades. There is a little bit, if you're trading on like if you're trading like penny stocks and stuff like that, then you're gonna have slippage, right? If you're trading big stocks, you're not really gonna have much of that. There's very thin margins. I mean, like the bid and ask are very close, so you're not really gonna have that. But the truth is, we're not incorporating that yet, right? So we're assuming, you know, larger stocks, right? Which is, it's not a crazy, you know, assumption. You know, zero fees, larger stocks, more liquidity, right? That's kind of the assumption. We're going to be building into Lumiwealth very soon, the ability to add in slippage and trading fees and all that kind of stuff. And this matters even more so with like options, for example. Like options, that actually matters, right? If you're trading like penny stocks or options, those are going to have like big margin, big you know, gaps, bid and ask spreads, right? We don't have that feature in Lumiwealth yet, but we're going to be adding that very soon. I actually had that conversation with our development team very recently, and we're going to be adding that in very soon, just because options or you kind of require that, right? So that's the answer there. So Max, if you're trading penny stocks, it doesn't include that. You can manually do that, by the way. There's ways you can figure that out, but it doesn't currently include that sort of thing. So we're assuming you're using a broker with the zero fees, and we're assuming that you're trading things that have a decent amount of liquidity. All right. So thank you for that question, Max. In terms of backtesting, right? Yeah. So if you're trading options, you're gonna need to put in that sort of thing. There's a way to add that in manually. If you'd like, I can show you how to do that. We're gonna put that into Lumibot and make that very easy for you to do that sort of thing. That is very high on our priority list to make that easy for you. If you want, I can show you how to do that manually as well. It's not that difficult, right? But yeah, it's something that we're considering very much. So if you're trading options, it matters a lot. I agree with you, and we're going to be building that feature in very soon. It is definitely something on our radar, and I agree with you very much, Max. Thank you for that question. Okay, cool. So that's a demo. Any question? I mean, I want to ask any questions around that. I know you guys are asking questions, but please feel free to message and ask me any questions if you have any of them around that demo. In the meantime, I'm going to walk you guys through our course and kind of tell you a little bit about, you know, how you can build these types of things, right? Like, you saw a couple of these. By the way, this was recorded a couple of weeks ago. We have even more than that now. Our technology is like getting better like exponentially. That's kind of the thing about software is like you build on things, right? And it keeps getting better and better and better. And it's not like a little bit better every time. It's like it's a lot better very quickly. So our technology has gotten significantly better even since those presentations. And that wasn't even that long ago. But our tech has gotten a lot better. We have a lot cooler stuff since then. And if you look at just our GitHub page, you'll see all the versions and how much effort we put into this stuff, right? This is something that I'm personally very passionate about, and I think we can, literally change the world doing this sort of stuff. Investments are very important on a world scale, right? There's a lot of money floating around in this sort of thing. And I think using technology to help with investing is very, very valuable. I think it can create like a lot of value in the world as a whole, right? It's not just, hey, let's trade this because the RSI is low or something like that. It's like, no, there's like actually you could make algorithms that like value stocks. You know what I mean? Like actually like Warren Buffett type valuation. You can have like AI algorithms that read annual reports and figure out, is this a good company or not? Like there's like a lot of really cool stuff that you can do with technology these days, and it's only getting bigger and better every single year. So anyways, let's talk about the actual course. I'm going to send this in the chat as well, so you guys can follow along if you'd like. So I'm going to put this into the chat. You guys can follow. So let's click into this, right? Here is the algorithmic trading course, right? Again, we have a bunch of different courses. If you hover over here, you'll see we have algorithmic trading, machine learning, options, and blockchain. We're going to be adding 2 more very shortly. We're going to be adding in a JavaScript course tailored towards blockchain very soon. We're going to be adding in a general trading course for those of you that want to learn algorithmic trading and then you want to like learn more about other trading algorithms. We're going to have a course just on that, run by an investment advisor that has a lot of experience in this, right? And of course, we have these existing courses. If you want to learn how to apply AI to algorithms, that's our machine learning course. If you want to build algorithms for options, we have an options trading course, right? Specifically for algorithms, right? If you want to learn more about crypto and blockchain, we have a course on that. Alexander's a great teacher. It's actually starting on Thursday. If you guys want to take this course, it's going to be really cool. I'm actually taking this too because I'm like fascinated by this stuff. I think she's a really, really smart person to learn from. So we have a lot of courses, right? This is usually our intro course. For those of you that are interested in algorithmic trading, for those of you that don't know how to code, a lot of people start here. This is the starting course, right? Algorithmic trading. You've learned a lot about kind of the concept and you've seen a few examples. But let me tell you about kind of our course plans and like how this is structured. So we have 3 different course plans. We have our self-directed plan, which is really you watch the videos, you're part of our community, right? But it's your responsibility to go through the videos and learn self-paced on your own, right? For some people, this is good because, it works around their schedules. For some people, it's good because, it's a little bit less expensive. It's a cheaper option, right? But the thing is that you don't have the live aspect of it. And I think most of our students are very, very interested in learning live from these instructors, right? But our self-directed plan is fantastic, and a lot of people have really liked it, right? You get a couple of things from this. You get access to our video library. You get access to all of our code. You could use any of our code that's there, not just now, but anytime in the future when we update this. You get all of our future updates in our code. And you get access to our community. You get access to our discussion hour, which I actually am a little late for today. Started about 10 minutes ago. But that's our self-directed plan, is community, videos, code, right? Our live plan is all of that. You get everything from self-directed, plus you get to be part of a live class, right? So in the self-directed plan, you're just watching the recordings of a live class. In a live class, you're actually in the live class. So, for example, this class is taught by me. Here you can type out questions and all that, and that's great. But in the live class, people usually will turn on their microphones, turn on their cameras, right? You can ask questions live, right? It's like we're in the same room together, right? So when you're building this stuff out, and if you're anything like me, learning a new technology, learning new stuff, it's hard, right? Like you put in some effort to do this sort of stuff, right? So it's not easy to learn something, a completely new skill, right? So it's very helpful to have someone that you can ask questions to while you're going through this, right? We walk through all this stuff together. So if you're stuck anywhere, we walk through it. Um, if you have any questions, we can cover all that kind of stuff. We'll go through all the code together, and you'll be like, okay, am I getting this right? Are we doing this correctly? How do I do this? A lot of people have their own things that they want to build. We have presentations, and you can get feedback on those presentations. A lot of times I'll get on calls with people and we'll figure out how to build this, right? So there's a lot of interaction, right? There's a lot of interaction. It's a live class, right? It's not just videos. It's not you sitting there watching videos. It's a live class. There's a lot of interaction, right? So that's definitely our most popular plan. Not everyone, but a lot of people choose to go with this option. I'd say the majority of our students choose to go to live class just because, that's like really what it's about, right? Watching videos is great. You can get a lot of good content from it. Even if you're part of a community, you can learn a lot from that. But there's something about that live interaction that really helps you learn a lot faster. It's that support system. It's that engagement. When you join this class, you're engaged in the class. That's the live classes really are what most people end up opting for, and I think for very good reason, right? Then we have our self-directed class. Like I said, that's videos, code, and community. Live classes, you get all of that, plus you're like live in the class, right? Then we have a project help and tutoring plan. And this is for people that really, you have something in mind, you want to build out a certain type of thing. What we will do is we'll put in, it's like the white glove service. We'll put in extra effort to make sure that you accomplish what you want to accomplish. We'll get our developers involved if we have to. We'll write code for you, right? We will spend as much time as we need to over the phone. Make sure that you're really getting this information that is really making sense to you. Honestly, with some people from Project Help and Tutoring Plan, people started this course 6-8 months ago, and I'm still on the phone with them constantly. They built some new algorithm. How do I tweak this? How do I help this? How do I improve on, we spend a lot of time with these people. The white glove service, Project Help and Tutoring Plan. If you really care about the stuff, you're really excited about the stuff, this is the way to go, and we'll help you build out this stuff, whatever it takes, basically, right? Here's all the pricing for those different plans. So we have the self-directed plan, and again, you could look at all the different check marks. It's $1,500 approximately, $1,498, right? This is available in 3-month paying plan and a 5-month paying plan. So you pay up front if you want. You pay over 3 months. You pay over 5 months. It's all available to you, right? You don't have to pay all up front, right? Here's all those points again, talking about what's included: the video library, code library, the community, right? You still get instructor support with this as well. So if you want to get on calls, we'll do that. Then you get access to our discussion hour, which is actually taking place right now on our Discord. And if you zoom over here, this is our discussion hour. I don't want to join right now because it's going to be a little confusing with too much tech stuff going on. But here we have 4 people inside this channel right now. All these guys, 5, we had another person join, right? And these guys are all talking over voice. And you can see some people are muted, some people are actually talking right now. It's a voice discussion. So if you care about algorithmic trading, if you care about building bots to make you money, this is really the way to go. These guys have built some really cool stuff. Let me tell you, they are very smart people, very good people to learn from. It's not going to be something you go in there and just some annoying person in the background. These are all very educated, very intelligent people that have built some really cool stuff. So you get access to that as well as part of the self-directed plan, right? And then again, the live class. So this is $3,500, right? It's more expensive because you get that live nature of it. You get to interact directly with the instructor. In this case, in this class, it's with myself. So you get as much time really as you need interacting with myself throughout the class. You get everything from the self-directed class, plus you're part of that live conversation, right? So it's 12 weeks of class, right? About 2 hours per week of live lecture. Sometimes it goes to 3. 6 hours of dedicated Q&A. So we'll get on the phone with you for 6 hours if you need to, right? access to all the features, video and code. This is actually really cool. So if you take our live class and you aren't able to complete it for whatever reason, maybe you got a promotion, maybe you got a new job, maybe you're moving, maybe, whatever reason, you could retake the course as many times as you want, right? So it's not like a one-time thing and, oh, we didn't make it. You can retake the course over and over and over again if you need to. And technology improves over time. I've actually had students that have taken our course a year ago, retook it again, or at least a couple of days. They don't take the whole thing. They'll take a couple of days because technology's improved. So they're learning new things now, right? So that's a live class. You get that sort of thing. You get help with 2 personal projects. You get to know your classmates. Help with your resume if that's something that you're interested in. We help a lot of people with their resumes and help them get jobs, right? I think it's even more relevant for our blockchain courses. But we've helped people get jobs. I mean, some of our students have gotten jobs at Goldman Sachs, have gotten jobs at Bank of America. We've had some really successful students in the past. So if you need help with resume or interview prep, we can do that as well. And then unlimited email and chat. On Discord, I'm on there all day. If you need any help. So that's our live classes. So everything with self-directed plus more. And then our project help and tutoring plan is all that. You get to be in the live class, you get to do all that sort of thing. Plus, we'll spend we stay here. This is upcoming class, whatever. We say 12 hours of one-on-one video or phone sessions. I mean, I've spent more than 12 hours with some people. Whatever it takes to really get you there. We'll get our developers involved. We'll write code for you. We'll do whatever it takes really to get you to the point where you're having this algorithm that you're happy with and things are doing really well for you, right? That's the project help and tutoring plan. It's about $5,300, again, available in a 3-month or a 5-month payment plan. You do not have to pay all of this upfront, right? Okay, cool. You can book a call here if you want to. You can book a call with our team. You can learn about our learning outcomes, all that sort of thing. Here's our course curriculum. I think this is something you guys are very interested in, I'm sure. So our course is divided into 3 parts. Each part is 4 weeks long. The entire course is 12 weeks. I'm talking about our live course. Yeah. It's a 12-week long course. The next one starts on January 20th, which is actually coming up very soon. No, sorry. Registration closes on January 20th, which is, if you guys want to register, it closes on Thursday, right? If you want to register, make sure you register, right? And then the course itself starts on January 30th, which I believe is, in this case, a Sunday. So this one takes place every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern. It's our first time doing a Sunday course. I think it'd be great because you guys get to, do things on the weekend. It's not like a late night type of thing, right? So that's that course. But before I get into that in too much detail, let's talk about how that works, right? So January 30th, 12 weeks, right? 3 parts. Each part is 4 weeks long, right? Part 1, we cover the fundamentals, right? Make sure that you know data science, Python, understand how to code, all that sort of stuff, how to apply to finance. Part 2 is really taking all that, applying it to the finance world, back testing, all that kind of stuff is in part 2. And then part 3 is about building a trading bot that actually works for you. Usually by the end of part 2, people will have a bot up and running, and you'll have this thing running. I actually, I want to put on this page. We have this on our landing page, and I want to put on this page as well. There's a guarantee. If you guys actually show up this class, I guarantee you will have a working bot by the end of the class. I guarantee you that. We do not have people going through a class that don't have working trading bots, unless you just don't show up. If you don't show up, then I can't do anything, right? I can't help you if you don't attend class, right? But if you attend class and you actually put in the work, I guarantee you will have a working trading bot, most likely by the end of week 8, but 100% for sure by the end of the class, right? So let's talk about part 1. So part 1 is the fundamentals. Week 1 is really the course introduction. We set up your computer, make sure you have everything laid out properly, everything installed. And then we go walk through the course and how that works. And then we also do, very importantly, introductions, which is everyone gets to know each other in class. This is really fun, right? Because everyone comes from different backgrounds. Some people are very good coders. Some people are like investment advisors. Some people have worked on the trading floor. There's a really diverse set of backgrounds that happens, and people tend to work on projects together. There's a lot of our past students that are working on projects together right now. And really this helps fuel that. That's why we love doing these introductions to get to know each other really well, right? It's week one. Week two is we go into Python. We go through this very quickly, right? To be respectful of those of you that know how to code. So we don't want to take a crazy amount of time on this. We also give you a lot of resources. If you don't know how to code, I'll give you a lot of different ways to learn how to code. And I'll get on phone calls if you need to, and we'll get you to that speed as quickly as possible to learn how to code Python. We go through it pretty quickly in week two, and you'll come up to speed very, very fast. All right. Week three, we cover pandas. Pandas, it's a funny name, but basically it's like data science, right? It's like the data science library. It's like if you don't know pandas, you're not a data scientist, right? Everyone uses this to analyze data, download data, all that kind of stuff. Pandas is like basically Excel on steroids. It's like what Excel should be. It's like super, super powerful, can do all sorts of analysis, that sort of thing. So we'll teach you how to use that, right? And then week four, we teach you how to apply that to the finance world, right? So week three is like the basics of it. And week four, we download financial data and start working with a lot of financial data to understand how to use it specifically for finance, how to do data science for finance, right? And I have a question here. So IT asks, what if you don't have 10 years of experience in the market, like some of the other people here? Yeah, so that's a great question. Absolutely. So you will learn a lot about the market going through a class, right? So the class is a lot about, it's two things. You learn a lot about coding and you learn a lot about finance in class, right? So if you're good at coding, you could learn how to apply that to the finance world. If you're good at finance, you learn how to code to automate it, right? We do both, right? So this is really about coding and finance. So if you don't have a lot of finance experience, you're going to get a lot with this course. We're going to talk a lot about finance. We have a lot of discussions around this stuff. You can even join our discussion hour and that sort of thing. You will learn a lot about finance very quickly from some very smart people with data to back it. You know, it's not these people like on Instagram hyping things all the time. Like, yeah, I have the best trading algorithm in the world, right? Like, okay, prove it, right? I mean, like, show us this, right? That's you're gonna actually have like data backed stuff. You're gonna have people that like actually analyze the data. Does this make sense and whatnot, right? Okay. Thank you for that question. Nick asks, is there Solidity training? Not in this course. If you're interested in Solidity, run over to our course here, courses, blockchain programming. That's the one that covers Solidity. That one starts on Thursday. If you're interested in a class, make sure you talk to someone on our team. There's like a book a call. You can go under more, book a call, right? Or email me or whatever, because this class starts on Thursday. It starts very, very soon. I'm going to be in that class too, so you'll see me there if you're joining. If you're interested in Solidity, that is a blockchain programming course, and that one is going to be awesome, and I can't wait for that. I'm personally very excited about that. I've worked in crypto for quite a while, and I've done some great stuff, but I think Solidity is it's where it's. I mean, really, like that's like where the world is going, right? I mean, like, Solidity is awesome, right? So I personally can't wait for that class either. So Nick, if you want to join, Thursday is when it starts. Make sure you reach out to someone and we can get you into that class, right? Cool. Thanks, Nick. All right, okay, but coming back to algorithmic trading, right? I believe in two things, right? I believe in there's two ways to really make money in finance, right? It's either you're smarter than everyone else by having smarter, faster algorithms, right? Are we investing in the right way, right? Where are we putting our money? Are we fast enough to make decisions? Are we intelligent enough to make the right decisions, right? That's like the intelligence part of it, and that's algorithms, right? And the other side of it is creating new types of assets, right? And that's like the blockchain side of it, right? So between those two, that's what we're all about, right? It's like, you're making smarter algorithms to do all this stuff for you. At the same time, you could take the blockchain course to create new types of assets. If you take the two together, I think that's like a killer combination, right? You can build, they're very different kind of technologies. It's like whatever, but it's combining those two. I think it's like a killer combo, right? Imagine you could like make your own crypto coins and then like trade them with algorithms. Like that's like, oh my goodness. Like I think you'd be like a freaking multi-millionaire doing that pretty easily. Not that hard to make like a couple $1 million doing this sort of stuff. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, cool. So anyways, getting back to algorithmic trading, we covered part one. Part one is all about, the fundamentals, making sure that you know how to code, making sure you understand data science and all that sort of thing. Part two is applying that to finance. So we're going to spend a lot of time on downloading stock market data, downloading economic data. How do we work with all that? How do we come up with different ideas around it? How do we judge if this is a good investment or not? And then a lot of back testing, right? How do we back test this idea? How do we back test that idea? We're going to spend a lot of time doing this sort of thing, really like to make it, so you're not investing based on a whim or what someone else tells you. You can make sure that you have the data to back it up. If someone tells you, I think there's a good investment idea, you can actually download that data and figure out on your own, is this the right thing to do or not, right? And that's what you're going to learn throughout this. We're going to cover working with stock and economic data, downloading all that stuff. We're going to go over financial performance metrics, right? How do you actually analyze if an investment is doing well? CAGR, standard deviation, max drawdown, Sharpe ratios, and cover all that. We're also going to cover a little bit of back testing in here, how to do it manually. And then we're going to go over a lot of back testing, week 3 and week 4. How do you like back testing 1, back testing 2. We have lots of different examples. You're going to be able to see what strategies work, what strategies don't, right? Then part 3, and like I said, by the end of part 2, you probably will have already had a bot working. But part 3 will definitely make sure you have a bot working. We're going to spend a lot of time making sure you set your broker up, making sure you've connected this to your account, making sure you've actually traded with this. I make it a major point, you go through this class, by by part 3, this is week 1, part 3, which is really week 9 in the class. By this point, I'm going to be calling out everyone in the class. Do you have a working trading algorithm? Let's see your trades. Let's see this work. And if it's not working for you, I'm going to get you on a call. We're going to make sure that's working for you. I do not want you to leave this class without a working trading algorithm. I think that's very important. I want to make sure that you have something that's working for you and that's actually beneficial. Like I said, it's not on this page, but I wanted to actually do this. I think I'm going to update this sometime this week, put an actual guarantee on this. You will come out of this class with a working trading algorithm, period, end of story, as long as you show up to class, right? If you don't show up, again, I can't help you. If you don't put in the effort, I can't help you. But if you actually show up, put in the effort, you will definitely come out of this with a working trading algorithm. And that's definitely going to happen by the end of part 3. We're going to make sure that it's all working in this first part of it. And then we're going to go over lots of different examples. We're going to go over a working trading bot here, a bunch of different workshops, a bunch of different examples. Week 3, we're going to show you more and more examples. I'm going to show you the Reddit bot. I'm going to show you our rebalancing bot. I'm going to show you our technical analysis bot. I'm going to show you, and then we're going to show you our AI bot or machine learning bot in week 4, right? So we're going to give you lots and lots of examples of these different things. You can take this code, use it yourself. You can run, like a lot of our students just take our code and just run it and they make money, right? And that's great. And I think that's awesome, right? But I think it's even cooler when you take that and like modify it and make it your own and do even better, right? A lot of people will do that as well, right? So by the end of this, you're gonna have a working trading bot. You're gonna see lots of different examples, right? Okay, cool. So that's our curriculum, right? And then talking about our live classes coming up. All right, so our January class, like I alluded to before, our registration closes soon. It closes on January 20th, right? So in 2 days, our registration closes. The course itself starts on January 30th, which is a Sunday, okay? First time we're doing this class on a Sunday, so I feel like we should even send an email about that specifically because it fits with most people's schedules a lot better on Sunday. It is a 12-week long course. Of course, that excludes holiday breaks. So I don't know, maybe Easter falls in this. I don't know. I'm not sure. But if there's a holiday break, we take that off, of course, right, to give you guys a chance to hang out with family and whatnot, or travel or whatever you want to do. But it's a 12-week long course in general, right? 3 months. And then we recommend about 8 to 12 hours per week self-paced learning, right? That includes the 2 to 3 hour week lecture. If you want to get the most out of the course, put in the time and effort. But it also depends on, how fast you want to learn, how much background do you have. So we say 8 to 12 hours because we want you to put in the time. But, some people put in a lot less, some people put in a lot more. It really depends, right? And then class is every Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern or 2 p.m. Pacific, right? So starting January 30th, it's going to be every Sunday for 12 weeks, 5 p.m. Pacific, or sorry, 5 p.m. Eastern or 2 p.m. Pacific, right? Every Sunday. Okay. And we say the lectures are about two hours per week. Sometimes it goes a little longer, sometimes it goes to 3 hours, sometimes a little shorter, right? But about 2 hours per week on average is lecture time, right? And that's when you can ask your questions and communicate with other people in the class and that sort of thing, right? That's our January class. We also have another one that starts in March, right? And the March class starts on March 23rd, right? Registration closes March 9th. Class starts March 23rd, same thing, 12 weeks long, 8 to 12 hours per week. And this one's every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern or 5 p.m. Pacific. Again, same thing, 2 hours per week. This one as well, if you guys sign up now, there's an early bird special. You save 20% if you sign up now for the March class, right? We do this for every one of our classes. If you want to sign up for the next one, you get a discount if you sign up early, right? Okay, throughout this course, you're going to do 2 course projects. I've kind of already talked about this. The first one is analyzing your investment strategies. You're going to figure out how to download data, analyze things, and, you know, is this the right investment for me or not? That sort of thing. Okay. And then project 2 is going to be actually building this live trading bot and seeing it work and actually trade for you, right? These projects, you're going to see other people presenting. You're going to have a chance to present your own. You're going to get a lot of feedback. You'll get a lot of back and forth on these projects and a lot of help on these things, right? If you want to read a little bit about myself, you can read about myself here. There's a little bit of details on me here. I feel like I should add my LinkedIn, but you can Google me, you know, search for me on LinkedIn. It's definitely there. And then there's also some testimonials about the class. So you can, don't take my word for it, right? You know, listen to other people and what they've thought. You know, he's been a student of ours. He joined us, I want to say almost 2 years ago now, which is kind of, is it 2 years ago? It's been that long. He joined a while ago, so you can learn a little bit about him. Renee, how things went with him throughout the class. Sintayan, this guy's been killing it. He's been making a ton of money, and you can read some quotes here. If you want to see more testimonials, you can actually click on our testimonials page. We have even more in there. To be honest with you, I want to keep adding them as we just don't have time, to be quite honest with you. I'm like very focused on like actually, you know, making this class good for people. But we have lots of videos here that you can listen to. Joel and Tyan and Renee and Agim. And we have a couple more here that, to be honest with you, we haven't added in yet, and I should add in. But if you guys are interested, you know, you join our Discord group. Like I said, you know, there's lots of people in there that you can learn from. I'm going to put that in there again, just to make sure that you guys have it, because the Discord's awesome. Because again, like don't just take my word for it. You know, like listen to other people and what they've done. Right. Cool. Yeah, and that's pretty much everything for the course. I'm going to put in the link again here for you guys as well, if you guys want to check it out and run through this page yourselves. And I'm going to read here from Max. So Max says, thanks, Robert. I need to drop off. Thank you for the great presentation. You're welcome, Max. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in class. Awesome. Definitely. It sounds great. Can't wait to see you in class and see what you come up with, right? And then if you were in my shoes, which classes would you take in which order? Also, how big is each class? Okay, so to answer those one at a time. So if I'm in your shoes, Max, I'll be honest with you, I don't know exactly what your shoes look like, right? But I mean, I think most people start off with the algorithmic trading course. That is definitely the starting point for most of our students. We've recently been bigger into the blockchain thing, and that one, you know, that's a kind of a different starting point, right? But either one of those, either blockchain or algorithmic trading, I think is a good starting point. And then which class, and so I'd start off with that. So if you start off with algorithmic trading, we have a whole track that you can go through. You can take the machine learning, you can take the options trading. We're adding in a crypto trading course very soon as well to build algorithms for crypto. And we're going to be adding in a course that just purely goes through algorithms, not even a code, that just like talks about, you know, different trading strategies and how they work. It's an investment advisor that was one of our past students. He's going to be teaching this course. Really smart guy, done a lot of really cool stuff. So we're going to be doing that as well. So there's a whole track for you there, and really everyone kind of starts off with the algorithmic trading. Another track that we've been building out is the blockchain side of things. We're going to be building out more and more courses there as well. So that's kind of like a separate track to go down. And then the question is, another question is, how big is each class? So each class, it ranges, right? Well, we try to keep our class sizes small. The live classes, you know, what's the point of a live class if there's like 50 people in there? Like that's like, there's no point in that, right? So we try to keep our class size small. No problem, Max, no problem. Our biggest classes are like 20. We less than 20 each class, right? An ideal class size is like 10 people, right? Or less, right? Our options class right now, just because it was over the holidays when we started, it was 2 people in that class. These guys are so fortunate. They have so much time with Neil. It's amazing. I swear they got like an incredible deal. I'll tell you that much, right? Because they have this person that's constantly helping them with every little detail and really flexible to their schedules, right? So I prefer having classes like that, right? They're smaller and, you know, we can like really tailor it to you, right? That's like what the live class is all about. But really it's like 20 is the cap. I don't want to go over 20. 10 is like an ideal number, right? And that's kind of our class size, right? So IT asks, what's the difference between algorithmic trading and machine learning as a course? Yeah, so algorithmic trading course is the one that we talked about today, and it's really all about how do you build a trading algorithm, right? This is what this class is all about. By the end of this class, you're going to have a trading algorithm working, period, end of story, right? You'll be able to back test things, you'll be able to have this thing buy and sell for you automatically, all that kind of stuff, right? The machine learning course is in some ways more advanced, in some ways it covers a different thing. So machine learning course talks about how do you apply artificial intelligence to algorithms, right? So you don't necessarily you don't have to take it in sequence. You don't have to take first algorithmic trading, then machine learning, but most people do that. Most people start with algorithmic trading and then will take the machine learning course to learn how to make their algorithms smarter. That's usually the course that people take. But you don't have to do that. You can take it in the opposite order. It's fine. They don't have prerequisites to each other. They're different, but machine learning will teach you how to apply artificial intelligence to the world of trading. How do you use machine learning and artificial intelligence? How do you like make a machine automatically learn how to do these things for you, which is crazy and awesome and very profitable. That's a machine learning course. And algorithmic trading course is what we talked about today, which is really about, you know, building a robot that can trade for you. And that's usually, again, where most people start, right? Hopefully that answers your question. Cool. Okay. So that's the course. So I'm going to leave this open to you guys. Any questions around all this? I know you guys have been asking questions throughout, and thank you very much. I love this. I love this interaction that we have. It's, you know, I feel like I learn sometimes as much from you guys as the opposite happens. I love hearing your opinions and your thoughts and your questions. So there's a lot that that we can improve on. It's funny, you know, teaching this class for over 2 years now. I never would have thought to build some of these algorithms, except for like having these like students in the class. And it's like it's the group genius, right? Like everyone contributing different ideas and everyone sharing opinions and thoughts, and like it's really, really cool, this whole sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, thank you for being part of this, right? But again, this is open to you guys. I'm going to leave some time for you guys to type out questions, because I know it takes a little bit of time to type. But guys, what questions do you have for me, other than the ones obviously you asked about the class? I love this. I love the interactive nature of this, right? I hope to see you guys in this class. It's awesome. It sounds like you guys are very smart people, you know, great experience, great backgrounds, and you sound like you're passionate about this stuff. And I would love to see you guys in class, and let's work together to like really build the future of finance, you know? Screw these hedge funds, you know, not gonna lie. I worked on Wall Street for a while. Some of these guys don't deserve to have the positions that they have. And I love the idea of being able to use software to completely disrupt that whole industry, you know? It's coming whether you like it or not, if you work in the industry, right? You know, a lot of these trading fees, in my opinion, are way too high. the whole hedge fund 2 and 20 model, I think, is dead, and for a good reason. ETFs are exploding, and ETFs in some ways are kind of like algorithms, right? Like ETFs are that. Why do you think they're so cheap, right? They're able to use software to do those things, right? Like imagine making your own custom ETF, like to do whatever you want, right? It's basically what you're able to do here using artificial intelligence in ETF. You can do whatever you want, right? You have all the freedom, right? So I'll give you guys another couple seconds to ask some more questions. I feel like you guys have been very active, so thank you for that. I love having an active class like this. All right, cool. So I guess that's it. We have no more questions here, which is great. Awesome. Thank you very much, guys, for being part of this. Honestly, it's been a pleasure having you on board. This is awesome. I hope to see. Oh, we have one more here. Okay. What are margin gaps based on experience? Is ITS? I'm not sure what you mean by that. What are margin gaps? What is a margin gap? Sorry, I'm not familiar with that word, with that term. Margin, profit margin. I still don't know what that means. I'm sorry. Margin gaps. I still don't know what that means. I've never heard that term before. Beyond the usual suspects. It seems to be some sort of builder term. Sorry, I'm not familiar with this. I haven't heard this term before. Profit margin for gap. That's definitely not what you mean. The profit margin for gross profit margin. This is a pretty good profit margin, 50%. That's actually pretty good. What's the difference in profits made by developers, investors? I mean, I'm still not fully understanding what you're asking. Yeah, I mean, okay. So I guess the question you're asking is like, what's the difference between a regular investor versus an investor that has experience in this sort of thing? I mean, I don't know, right? I mean, if you just look at the market, right, the market in general makes 10% on average, right? We can assume that most investors make around that, right? I think that's a pretty good assumption. Actually, maybe that's not even a good assumption, right? Probably most investors make less than that because they make stupid decisions, right? So I think probably most investors make less than the stock market because they like trade too often and they like make dumb decisions and they like buy stupid assets that they shouldn't be buying, right? I can tell you, based on a lot of our algorithms, it's not very difficult to beat the stock market, in my opinion, right? I've seen how our algorithms work. I've seen it work for myself and for our students. Again, I want to caveat that with we are not investment advisors and don't sue us, that sort of thing. But the truth is, like, I mean, I've seen things that have been very profitable for a lot of our students. I've personally made a lot of money doing this sort of stuff. I feel like I could beat the market pretty easily, right? I don't think that's very hard to beat the stock market. Take a little bit more risk, but diversify it and reduce that risk in intelligent ways. I don't think it's hard to beat the market, right? Whereas most investors, they underperform the market. I bet you, and mark my words on this year, people are going to lose a lot of money just because last year people got a lot of confidence because they think it always happens when the stock market goes up like this crazy amount, like it did the past year, like whatever, 50% or something. Everyone thinks they're a genius, right? And they stop paying attention to risk management and they just buy crazy things. So like, yeah, I never lose, right? And then they put all their money into like a Tesla call option and they lose like half their portfolio, right? So like, I bet you there's gonna be a lot of that happening over the next year. When we're not in such favorable times, right? It's like, when the market's going up, you can like literally buy anything and you make a ton of money, right? It doesn't take a rocket scientist, right? But when the market starts to go down, that's when you find out who the good investor is, right? I learned that lesson in 2008. That's when I started investing in 2007. 2008 taught me a lot of lessons, right? That's why 2020, I was very much prepared, right? That I did not go through that sort of cycle, right? And I think if you have that data to back you up, you really are able to get around that, right? You're not going to fall into those pitfalls that most people fall into. So yeah, so I mean, our students do very well. Anecdotally, I know one of our students made 400% the past year. I know our algorithm that I've given to a bunch of our students has doubled the stock market, right? And you know, mind you, stock market's done well. We've done double that, right? You know, that's kind of like anecdotal things I can talk to you about. I don't have statistics around it, but if you want to ask some of our students, feel free, jump on Discord. You can ask them, or you know, I could send you. I mean, watch our testimonials, listen to those as well. You know, I don't think it's hard to beat the stock market using data science and algorithms. I don't think that's very difficult, right? Especially kind of like the starting point that we give you, right? So if you're talking about the gap between, you know, average investor versus the students take our course, I mean, a ballpark, I don't know, probably double your investment returns, I would think. But I mean, again, it's anecdotal. I don't have statistics on this, so it's a good question, and maybe we should get that, but some people really don't like sharing their investment returns, so it's gonna be a little difficult to get. But yeah, I mean, I think that'd be interesting. I'd love to actually like one day start collecting these statistics from our investors. I think the more that we get into SaaS, the more that we can do that. So it's a good question. It's a good question. I'd love to give you more stats on that, but all I can give you is like anecdotal, you know, one-off, like some of our students have done this sort of thing. Right. Hopefully I answered your question. Right. Cool. Okay. All right. So I think that's pretty much it for today, guys. Again, thank you very much for being part of this webinar. This has been awesome. You guys have been a great audience. Lots of questions. Hopefully, I see you guys in this class coming up. It's starting on the 30th, which is in like 2 weeks on a Sunday, right? And let's build some stuff. Let's make some money. You know, that's what this is all about. Let's make some cash, right? All right, guys. Hope you have a great night and enjoy the rest of the week. And again, if you have any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to reach out to me. I'm available on Discord, emails. You can reach out to anyone on our staff. You know, I'm more than happy to answer any questions they have. Right. Good night, guys. Thank you.